Well, this is day one of leaving French Polynesia. You can still see the island behind me a little bit. There it is. See the island behind me. We debated for several days on when to leave. That's why we were 4 days being illegal immigrants, because out here the wind is supposed to have been about 25 knots. I mean, look at that. The wind is 3 knots.
Okay, we're finally leaving French Polynesia. What was your favorite thing?
I think diving the wall of sharks. How about yours?
Well, I'm asking you the questions.
Okay.
What was the funniest thing you saw?
Without a doubt, it was your sweat rag full of orange stuff.
Your turmeric.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to miss the most?
I'm just going to miss all of it. It's a phenomenal country. I mean, it's so different that I can't say one thing. I'm just going to miss it all.
What do you think about the people?
People are wonderful. We've met a lot of locals and a lot of French people, and they treated us really well. Expensive, but they treated us well. All right, you asked me, so what are you going to miss the most?
I think I'm going to miss all the outriggers.
Oh.
They were so cool to watch when there were hundreds of them on the water practicing every day.
Okay, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part, I think, was all the performances where they were celebrating their culture.
Okay, like Hiva and such?
Hiva and such, and the one that they put on for the rally.
Okay.
That we then saw on The Bachelor, The Golden Bachelor.
Okay. What was your least favorite part?
My least favorite part? Probably the mud and the water in Hiva-Oa.
Oh, okay. And then what was your funniest thing?
I think the funniest thing was when you can't find a bench, just tip its grocery cart sideways and sit on it and wait for your ride.
And we saw that, what, at a bus stop?
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts of French Polynesia?
No, I agree. The people here are wonderful. They're so giving and willing to share their lifestyle that it was very, very different from America.
And are you looking forward to moving on, though?
Yeah, I'm hoping the weather holds out.
Yeah, we might have a tough 24 hours. Doesn't look like it now, but what's coming?
Yeah.
All right, on to the Cook Islands. First day on our passage. That's a big guy. We haven't had a mahi since we left
The Caribbean.
Grenada.
Yeah.
Grenada to
Panama.
Panama. And that's a big one.
Woohoo!
Kind of a nice way to start the trip.
No wonder the birds were circling us.
Yeah. We got a good week worth of food here. All right, time to clean them. We are on day 2 of our passage. As you can see, it's pretty gloomy out there. We haven't seen the sun at all. In fact, it's probably been about, I probably haven't seen the sun since about 5 o'clock last night, 4 o'clock. Clouds came in, we had no moon last night. So we couldn't see which way the waves were going. They got pretty big. They were probably about 4 meters high. So nothing we couldn't handle. Holy cow. Here's a perfect reason why you never leave the helm unattended. We're going along just as easy as can be, and a squall just came out of nowhere, and the wind turned about 180 degrees. We spun around, we're headed right into the waves because we're on wind hold on our autopilot, and I mean, there was water everywhere. It was coming in the other way. Luckily, I got up to the helm real quick and pulled in the sail, and And then I was able to turn the boat so we weren't going smack into the 4 meter swells. Pretty scary. I'm going to show you this chart. Look at here. It says true wind direction. Right there, 201. 2031, huh? That was at 40. So that's how much this wind has turned around. We're now headed into the wind. But look, they're going with the waves in the direction we want to. I'm really hoping that wind goes back to where it was, because otherwise it's going to turn the wind chop into us and make things horrible again. Boy, that had never happened, to see the wind just change that much. Here's another thing that you can look at to see what I'm talking about, how we're going along a nice straight thing and all of a sudden, boom, we turn. Look at that. That's our track. You see that big turn right there? That's what happens when the wind turns 180 degrees. I tell you, back to that 5% terror. That's an awful big 5% though. Look at this guy. He didn't like the storm either. I think he got hurt. Poor guy, I'm gonna let him rest a little bit. Well, thank goodness, I think I found the leak. It looks like it's coming from this window, because it's soaked up here. All these latches weren't secured completely. Well, at least one disaster is averted. We're not going to sink. Jesus. Well, today is day 3, and I bet you can tell it's been kind of a rough day. We're bouncing around. Wind has been all over the place. Haven't seen the sun all day until right now. We got somewhat of a sunset tonight, just a sliver of it, but it's nice to see something. So like I said, the wind has changed. It had been coming behind us the whole trip. That's what it's forecasted to do. But now it's coming straight out of the west. And where do we want to go? Straight to the west. So we're going almost due south right now, which really not where I want to go. But the wind shows that it's going to switch back from coming out of the south here in a couple days. So if we can get far enough south, maybe we can just ride it directly into Aitutaki in a couple days. We've been moving a lot slower than we'd hoped. Only been doing about 4 knots. We had one time today where it shifted to about 20 knots of wind directly on our beam, and we were doing 7 to 8 for about 2 hours. And that was nice. It was actually coming out of the north at that time, and we were headed right for where we wanted to go. But that didn't last. I'm about to go down for a couple hour rest before my 8 o'clock shift, so I'll probably be back then. Here one last more time to see the sunset. Well, what a day, what a day. What a difference a day makes. First time we've seen the sun in a couple days, but look at how calm it is out there. No wind, no waves. Last time I checked the weather yesterday, this was to be expected. Like, it's going to be like this for at least another 18 hours before the winds come back up, and they're going to be coming up from the south. So the fact that the wind has pushed us south is going to end up working out okay, because then we'll be pushed directly straight up north to Aitutaki. I think we're only moving at about 2 knots, but who cares? We're just out here in paradise. It's comfortable now, so we're just gonna have some coffee and enjoy the nice easy pace. Well, I'm all geared to go up on top of the salon roof. Got a problem in that we're going too fast. We're 80 miles away and we've got to slow down to where we do it in just 20 hours. Actually, I think it's 18, 19 hours now because we can't arrive at night. So I've already got about as little Genoa out as I can, so I got to bring another reef down, go to third reef in the main. So the only way to do this is have Cindy slowly release the halyard and bring down the main, and I got to lock it off at the third reef. It's not an automatic reef. We didn't choose to do that because we thought, we'll never have to go to a third reef. But today is the day. So not really looking forward to going up there. The seas are pretty rough, but don't want to sit in the middle of the ocean going nowhere with these rough seals. So I'm heading up there.
What do you have on you?
What's that?
What do you have on you?
Well, I've got my life vest up here because in case, and I'm gonna, tether in. Since it's so rough up there, I don't want to go flying into the ocean because I know Cindy ain't coming back for me. All right, here we go. Well, that didn't work. We got too much wind from the side. It's just blowing the sail over. So I'd either have to go completely downwind or upwind, and I don't want to do either. So I'm gonna have to manage this a little bit different, which I gotta think about it. I gotta figure out exactly how I want to do this. Plus, I don't like being up here. So since I can't easily bring down that sail without throwing us into some major waves, what I've decided to do is even bring the Genoa in more. As you can see, I barely got any sail out. Now the reason I gotta have Genoa out is for steerage. Because it's such a big crosswind, if I didn't have at least some of that sail out, Remission would want to turn into the wind. The main couldn't stop us. So the Genoa is really the power of a sailboat. So I've really brought that in. Now we've got to average no more than 4¼ knots for these last 18, 19 hours. Right now, I think we're down to about averaging 4, so I think we're going to be okay. Slow going, but when we get to Aitutaki, there's no harbor, or there's only one harbor. There's no actual bays or anything that you can anchor in. What we have to do is we have to go in through a pass. It's a man-made dredged pass. It's only about 40 feet wide. We're 25 feet wide, and it's only about 6 feet deep. And we do about 4½ feet. So it's a very tricky passage to get into the harbor, which it too is really small. So I guess the price of paradise. So we've got to have everything just right to go in there. Wouldn't even think about it at night. If we got in there too early, then we'd have to just sit out here and kind of do donuts, and that in these kind of seas, not going to happen. Well, after 7 days in the open ocean with all sorts of different wind conditions, everything else, we have finally made it to Aitutaki. So we've got probably, oh shit, we got 30 knots of wind coming at us right now. But you know, when we're trying to go into a very tight harbor, it would have all this kind of wind. So we're heading to the small path right now. I've already pulled in the head sail. As we get a little closer, maybe get a little more protection from the island, I'm gonna go ahead and pull down that the mainsail. It's nice to finally get here, but our work is clearly far from being done. She's almost got her. All right, I think that's good. All right, we're heading into the channel. It's very tight and it's very shallow. So I got Cindy up there watching for me. You got to worry about current and the wind, and then the fact that this channel is only about 15 feet wider than Remission. Boy, I don't know if you can tell, but that is really narrow. I mean, right there is reef. Right there. Our depth gauge says 8 feet. It seems to be getting narrower. I see three other sailboats up here in the harbor. So if they can make it, I can make it. I probably shouldn't say that until I get there. And then when we get there, anchoring is going to be tough because it's really shallow in the little harbor. We'll probably either have to put out 2 anchors, or I have to put out 1 anchor, go to shore with 2 lines and secure to some rocks. Again, Cook Islands, you better be worth it. Oh, I just had one guy pass me and another one coming at me. Luckily, I'm bigger than they are, and their boats are made out of rubber. Yeah, I don't think he was too happy. Look at that little place. We got an anchor in there. And I could see sandbars in there. This is nuts. Yeah, I see it. Got a bunch of people that are going to be watching us come in here. That's never a good sign.
That brings us to the end of our passage to the Cook Islands. Or does it? We left out a scary night. While Bart was on watch, we got chased by pirates again. Bart had to make several maneuvers to lose them and keep us safe. Do you notice a trend with Bart and the night watch? So anyways, don't miss next week's episode. Thank you for joining us here on Sailing Remission.
A woman is always right, and a man is always wrong. But when a man tells a woman she's right, is he right or is he wrong? Are you struggling to get your wife's attention? If you are, here's what to do. Go back, sit on the couch, look really comfortable. It works every time.